Hello everyone, this is Domina Mara and welcome back to my channel. This past November, I went up to Northern California to celebrate Thanksgiving. This is the first time that I took a flight since the pandemic began, and I wanted to test it out with a short, under an hour trip without taking my mask off to see how it would go. It went off without a hitch. I left Los Angeles on November 25th in the morning and arrived no more than an hour later into San Francisco. After packing a few essentials, it was time to cross the Golden Gate Bridge and head into wine country. The beginning of this tour is just a recap of my rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation for the holiday before the weekend, and to appreciate the autumnal changing leaves. The first stop was Chateau Montelena, where I was here to pick up a few bottles of some beautiful vintages, as well as take some footage of the gorgeous swans that were grazing along the lake by the pagoda. The skies were super blue without a cloud in sight. Next up was a late lunch at Buster's Southern Barbecue. They had a line as their outdoor smoking, their meats drew much attention to the locals. I was able to check into the luxury resort a couple hours early, and so I was able to leave my bags before heading back on the road to visit Corazon Vineyards. They actually had a private event this day, but since I hung around, I got to catch one of the managers that worked there and toured their barrels. Then it was back to Solage, where I was able to partake in a welcome wine, walk around the resort and check out fire pits and seating areas, all the different pools. as well as fountains of water that were just so beautiful under yellow fallen leaves. The room had a nice outdoor private patio, as well as its own fountain and fire pit. As the moon rose, I decided to take my first dip in one of their pools. The pools are separated by temperature that is heated by a local hot spring, ranging from still waters to bubbling jets. My first night, I decided to lounge in the hottest tub to relax my aching bones as I was able to gaze up and look at the stars. On the way back to my room, I passed by the kiddie pool, which was very lukewarm, before changing and heading out to dinner. Next door is Indian's Hot Springs and Sam's Social Club. Outside, they have built a gazebo that features some lights and some very powerful heaters. And I decided to go with steak frites. Their pork chop was also amazing. Back at the hotel, I ended up opening a Dom Perignon bottle with a vintage of 2010, as well as a couple of other delicious bottles to celebrate my mom's 60th birthday. We ended up surprising her with outdoor decorations and gifts that we had brought and made before seeing her. The next morning, I took it easy and woke up to a lovely view. I really like how minimal this industrial room is designed. It's super open and goes all the way around, from the bathroom to the shower and back out to the bedroom and then the patio. To keep ourselves active, we decided to take a morning class of stretching and yoga, but it ended up being a more intensive Pilates class, which I guess was beneficial for Turkey Day. And then it was time to have brunch at Lovina restaurant. Outdoor seating was on the corner where beautiful leaves were falling off the trees. Puppy's vest said, "No justice, no treats." I had a wonderful bolognese with some truffle and Gruyere, and the rest of my family had seasonal dishes such as mushroom polenta, butternut squash soup, persimmon salad, and more. So she living the best Instagram life. We toured a little bit of downtown and then headed back to the resort to nap before hitting the pools once again and then changing for dinner. The resort had a wonderful Thanksgiving meal, as well as some delicious duck, seared scallops, kurabuta, pork chops, butternut squash pie, and of course, a delectable, decadent chocolate dessert. The next morning was our last morning in Napa Valley, where I woke up with a cold glass of whole milk before heading to Bella Bakery to pick up a few pastries, some quiche, and coffee while sitting around the patio fire. We caught some hummingbirds and tried to create a mixture of sugar water to hang from the trees, but they were a little too scared to come close to us, even though they hovered quite a bit. I went to the pools one last time, stayed in the Serenity magnesium pool for a little bit. That was the outside temperature, did a vitality plunge in 50-degree water before soaking in the saline baths at 102 degrees as the sun rose.
No diving.
On the way out, I stopped by the Calistoga sign with this rusty truck and found this interesting heron or crane bird that was just walking around like it was its front lawn. Of course, I had to stop by Yountville and checked out Model Bakery by the infamous Thomas Keller. For those of you who do not know, Thomas Keller is the founder of the French Laundry, which I visited and toured the kitchen on Thanksgiving in 2017 when I was here in Napa on an exclusive weekend trip. All the photos in my leopard dress and on the wine train are from this time. And all of these were shot by myself on a tripod with a remote control. Back to the present, in Model Bakery, we picked up a couple of baked breads to go, and then it was lunchtime. I really would have loved to have gone to Bouchon, but the line was down the block and around the corner, and stayed that way throughout the time we were in downtown. We ended up eating sandwiches at a local deli, which was delicious, and walked back after passing these rock-formed mushrooms. Back to San Francisco that evening, we decided to go to Chinatown and pick up some treats from Mr. Jew's. Usually, pre-pandemic, this restaurant would be about 3 to 6 months in advance of reservations. However, now that they're doing limited outdoor seating and mainly to go, we were able to bring some roasted duck, vegetarian noodles, mouth-watering potatoes, spicy fermented tofu home. My mom gifted everybody these care packages that had a couple of Kinder eggs and that had 3 different types of masks, a warming eye mask, a moisturizing face mask, and a cloth face mask that she had already washed that had different patterns. I haven't had a Kinder egg since I was living in Brazil, which was when I was 10 or 11. And so this was a great way to kind of be nostalgic. The next day, we went to the ferry building where they were having a farmer's market, only occurring on the weekends. There's a great porchetta sandwich place called Roli Roti that had rotisserie pork dripping onto potatoes. Now these ones induced salivating. They had extended one of the gate waiting areas into outdoor seating, and so we dined under the sun and shielded ourselves from some very hungry seagulls. After taking a few photos and footage of the Bay Bridge, I ended up taking a stroll through the ferry building because they had it decorated for the holidays. Sadly, half of the businesses were closed, but the ones that were open were serving takeout. I ended up getting a couple of scoops of very creamy ice cream. After the ferry building, I went to a beautiful floral nursery that is really hidden away in kind of an industrial area. And they had everything from indoor plants to succulents and cactuses to big palms. And also had these really cool artistic installations, like this old car with plants growing out of it. Some very colorful chairs and tables that you could actually purchase, and just a beautiful array of flowers and even holiday decor. This metal lily pad had a nozzle on the top that looked like it would spout out fire, which reminded me of Burning Man. Then it was time for me to check in to my hotel. If you had watched my Pacific Coast tour that I had recapped with Hawaii last week, you would have seen me tour the Intercontinental Mark Hopkins Hotel. And guess what? This time I was actually staying here. It was really convenient because there was almost nobody staying here, so I got to film to my heart's content. And they even had a thermometer attached to the wall so that everybody could check their temperatures before heading up. Since the restaurant at the top of the mark was not open, at least the view was still accessible, and so I took a few photos. There was also this really cool cabinet that had whiskeys and rums from squadrons that would leave notes for their teams to, have a drink. And I thought that was super cool and such a heartwarming idea. I think if a person in the squad is staying at the hotel, they can tell the front desk, and the front desk will open the cabinet for them, pour them a drink, and I don't know if at the end of the bottle, another person in the squadron, the next person who stays at the hotel, can leave another bottle. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but that's kind of what I overheard, which I thought was really cool. They also had another cabinet like this in the lobby near the front desk for more servicemen. I took a little nap before my sessions began. Yes, of course I had to play while I was in town, and I got to actually session with a couple of newbies. A lot of my regulars couldn't make it this time because of the holidays. But I was able to play safely with the mask on, of course, and by the time I was done, it was nighttime. So I went back up to the top of the mark to check out the city views, and the moon had risen. It was almost a full moon, and it was beautifully lighting the city below. I met my parents at Miller's Rest for dinner. Had their old-fashioned with a piece of very crispy bacon, as well as shared a few items on the menu before heading back to the hotel. As you guys have seen from my Pacific Coast recap video as well, I had visited the Fairmont. My family likes to come in here to take some photos of their holiday decorations. And honestly, if I had more sessions, I probably would have stayed here. Perhaps again in the future. The Mark Hopkins entrance was really beautiful and festive as well. I poured some bubbles in the tub of my marbled bathroom before tucking in for the evening. The next day, my parents picked me up from the hotel, and we went back to the Embarcadero to have brunch at Osha, which is a Thai place, which had a gorgeous interior. And we sat right in front of the ferry building while we ate our bowls, curries, and noodles. Took some photos by this really radioactive looking sewage system. And of course, the yellow leaves. And some holiday decor before heading home. I was able to catch the sunset that evening before heading out to the airport and flying back to Los Angeles. It was such a relaxing trip, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm probably going to be back again soon because I need to declutter my childhood bedroom, but also see my regulars that haven't gotten the chance to see me this time, but it will probably be at the beginning of 2021. When I returned, I bedazzled that new face mask that my mom got me and live streamed at the same time. You can watch that along with my other live streams on the playlist found on my YouTube channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you had a lovely Thanksgiving or if you have different food traditions in your own country. Some people add different things than the basic turkey to their menu, and other countries have drinking gatherings. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when new videos come out, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and keep it kinky, everyone.